Good evening, everybody. Today we'll be looking at Chapter 3 of Contemporary Marketing, and we'll be going over the 5 areas of the marketing environment. We'll also be looking into ethics in marketing and how it ties into social responsibility, and diving deeper into that, we'll look into the 4 dimensions of social responsibility. And then at the end, we'll talk about some ethical issues that impact marketers' decisions. So first, let's get started with the 5 areas of marketing environment. So first off, we have economic, technological, political and legal, social, cultural, and competitive. So first, economic environment. This refers to overall health of the economy and how it affects customers' spending and how businesses operate. So an example would be how, let's say there's a recession. Consumers during a recession aren't likely going to buy luxury high-priced items. So companies have to know this and offer discounts. It would be a good idea to offer discounts or focus on essential products because they got to realize most of their customers aren't going to buy high-priced items during a recession. Next, we'll look at technological environment, and this involves technological advances and innovations that are creating opportunities or even challenges for businesses. So let's look at a challenge. That could be how streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, they use technology to change how people watch TV, which challenges how traditional cable networks get their viewers. Now, me personally, my family has got rid of all of our cable networks. We're completely using streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, and I find that a lot of families nowadays are switching to streaming services and getting rid of cable. So yeah, that poses a challenge, but it also poses an opportunity for companies like Netflix and Hulu to rise up out of the ground and start gaining a lot of traction, gaining a lot of customers, gaining a lot of money. Next, we'll look into political and legal environment. This includes the laws, the government regulations, and political conditions that influence marketing decisions. An example of this could be how any food company must follow FDA regulations for, like, when they're labeling their ingredients. They have to ensure that their product is safe and that they're honest in labeling it, because there could be a lot of hazards with allergies and whatnot, people getting sick from their product. That's really a slippery slope if you try to go outside of the FDA regulations. So that is political and legal environment. Next is social cultural environment, and this kind of encompasses societal values and lifestyles and sometimes cultural trends that affect what customers want and expect from a company. So this could be how, growing focuses on sustainability. Like if a company is growing an outdoor brand called Patagonia, they make coats and they're really big on hiking, I've heard. For them to grow, they chose to market eco-friendly clothing because they felt like they wanted to build a culture where they wanted to promote helping the environment while also helping yourself. You're bettering the environment while going on a hike and increasing your stamina. Things like outdoor activities people do to become more active, more fit, but they also want to incorporate a lifestyle of eco-friendliness and really bring in the aspect that the world needs treated, and that is kind of Patagonia's standpoint on it. Next, we'll look at competitive environment, and this is the influence that other businesses offer similar products and services. So you have 2 companies. Companies must differentiate themselves from the other companies to attract customers and to gain sales. And so, you see it a lot with many brands, but a common one is Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They're constantly adjusting their marketing strategies and really trying to contain a edge over the other one in the soft drink market. I personally remember an ad that Pepsi made. I think it was Pepsi. They, in their ad, a boy went up to a Coke machine, bought 2 Cokes, put it down in front of the Pepsi machine, and stood on the Coke so he could reach the Pepsi button and buy a Pepsi. And that's just kind of like the competitiveness you see in that ad, where Pepsi is really trying to market themselves over Coca-Cola, really trying to bring in some of Coca-Cola's consumers, some of their market. So those are the 5 areas of the marketing environment, and now let's look at ethics in marketing and social responsibility with it. So ethics, I would define ethics as like the principles and standards that kind of guide behavior in marketing, and it's kind of what determines what's right and what's wrong. It really helps. It's a guideline that really helps a lot of businesses from determining what's right and what's wrong. Just thinking of their ethics. This is really important though, because it can help build trust with customers, prevent legal issues in the future possibly, and it can also like strengthen brand reputation along with building trust with customers. I know myself, I would want to invest in a company that has good ethics and that believes in good principles and standards, that the same ones I believe in. So yeah, that is very important in the marketing realm for companies to use. And I would kind of define social responsibility in marketing as kind of like the idea that companies should contribute positively to society beyond just doing it for themselves, making a profit, because while it's a lot easier to do things for yourself when you're in your business and you could possibly earn more money doing it, but is it, again, with the ethics? This is how it relates to ethics, actually, are you doing it just because it's the best for you, or are you doing it because you still make a profit, but the main thing is that it's positively contributing to society? And it's really a balance factor of how companies look at it. Do they want to be more money orientated, or do they want to have a positive impact? And you see that in the 4 dimensions of social responsibility. Those 4 dimensions are economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic. The first, economic responsibility, this is you want to be profitable and ensure your business is sustainable. You can look at how Apple produces high demand products and how they remain profitable. Apple is always introducing new phones, new iPads, a whole bunch of new tech that everyone wants, and that's kind of how they built their empire into a very successful business. And next is legal responsibility. This is companies have to follow the law and regulations. So again, food companies really have to adhere to safety and labeling laws, make sure no one gets mixed up in a health hazard while eating their product. Things like that could really backfire on a company if not done correctly. Third, ethical responsibility. Do what is right, even if it's beyond the requirements, beyond the legal laws. So just like I talked about before, if a company chooses money over doing what is ethically right, then it can kind of tilt them in the wrong direction. And actually a good example of that would be how a company might choose like environmental friendly packaging instead of a cheaper packaging where they can make a lot more money, but just like the Patagonia coats, they could not spend as much time preaching how their things are eco-friendly and making their coats with eco-friendly materials. They could just make it with cheap materials, and they can make it just as high quality, but they want it to be more ethically responsible, and that is the main principle of it. Next is philanthropy is what it's getting at. responsibility. And this is when companies try to give back to the community and improve the quality of life around them. And I actually saw a really good example I'm going to share. TOMS, or Tom's Shoes, if you know, they donate a pair of shoes for every pair sold. So this is a really good charitable activity that they do that really hits home for me, because like, what's the point in them doing it if they want to make money? Obviously they don't care as much about the money as long as their business is staying afloat, staying profitable. They have the resources to do a good deed and improve the quality of life around them. So their thought behind it is probably, why not do something good if I have the platform to do it? And lastly, let's look at some ethical issues in marketing. And there's a lot of dilemmas that marketers can face during all the decisions they make and stuff, but a few of them are, first off, advertising and the truth in advertising, how you got to avoid deceptive claims about products and not trying to, you got to be honest with your ads and your marketing campaign. You can't be deceptive, and because this will really come back to bite you in the butt. It's not ethical to try to scam people out of a product that is not what you brought it up to be. And next is actually pricing. So not overcharging or taking advantage of customers who have the funding to pay for it. If it, like, let's say you make something for $10 and you sell it for $100, like, is it really worth a $90 profit to be draining the customer's pockets? Or could you lower the price of those products down to help meet your customers' needs and also not have them break the bank at the same time? And next we'll look at privacy. This is consumer privacy, so protecting data and the customer's info online. It's very unethical to scam people. That's how a lot of scams happen. People's information is collected online and stored for other people to use and take advantage of them, and that is very unethical and should not be done in marketing strategies. Next, product safety. You must ensure all your products don't harm your customers, whether it's food, whether it's even a kid's toy, small kid's toy, you got to put on your label. Make sure this product is only for kids 4 and up, whatever you need to ensure the safety of your customers. And lastly, don't market to vulnerable populations. So you should avoid trying to manipulate children or elderly customers who don't know better, who think they're getting this top of the line, like, really innovative product that is really mind-blowing to them, but really, in all honesty, is not something that they need, and they're just getting manipulated into buying it. And that is it. Thank you for watching.